Hi there. This is Lou Martin, and I'm doing my live Facebook chat here with you tonight. It's the 23rd of June, 2016, and wow, it's been some rockin' times here. The energies today were really intense for me personally, and there are some days when you just have to get on your hands and knees and crawl around the garden of your own consciousness. And this is one of those days for me. So I may chat about that here in a second. Um, anyway, I was amazed that my video 3 nights ago eventually was seen by 750 people. I want to thank Brenda Garcia, my dear friend in Northern California, for putting the energy to get what I do out there to more people. So thank you for that. Um, get the camera there. Hi, Sarah. Um, Joanna, there we go. All right. Yeah, this is still kind of a new thing for me. Live video from the home here. Um, there are some amazing things. I started to do a video last night, and then I got distracted because I happened to be watching C-SPAN, and which is the public political station in the States, and they were covering a historic event. John Lewis, a former civil rights activist and now member of Congress, organized a sit-in for about 24 hours, beginning yesterday at around noon in the U.S., to demand that the Democrats have the ability to do a vote on some gun control things, laws, bills is the word I'm looking for, that they've been wanting to get put before the House there, and it was just gripping, gripping story. And as I say, it's never happened before. And Bernie Sanders made an appearance, and he was given a standing ovation. He's a senator, and this was in Congress, so it's not they're not in the same group. There's the Senate, and then there's the House of Representatives. But he showed up to offer his support, and he was warmly greeted. So to me, it was another example of this tremendous energy of awakening, of consciousness, of responsibility that is starting to really come out onto the planet now. So, as I say, it was gripping. If you've seen any of it, it's worth just seeing a bit of it. And they were making great speeches there about the need for some form of gun control, which since my dad was actually shot by someone and killed, I'm very personally aware of how important that is. So I appreciate that that's happening, and there were people gathering outside of Congress throughout the afternoon and the evening, asking for this to happen. Yeah, they've taken a break now. The Republicans have closed the session there, and nothing's going to get voted on until July the 5th. And if you take a look at my previous video there, or if you've heard it, I was saying that there is a very strong connection between the star system Sirius. There's actually 3 stars there in the stars of Sirius, and July the 4th, the birthday of the U.S., and that Sirius has a lot to do with the higher self and idealism and principle and character and integrity and all these great values. So stay tuned, more to come, clearly. So what else I want to talk about here? I think it was yesterday as well. There was a story that in California, that Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, a place that I have personally been involved in protesting way back in the 70s, is going to get closed down, and it's going to be the last nuclear power plant in California, and the state there has officially decided to shift to renewable energy. So that's pretty brilliant. Great to see everyone here. Mandy, Natasha, Thomas, Deirdre, Joanna, Sarah. Great. I mean, this is like I say, and it's an experiment here. I've sort of given up the idea that I can reach people on Skype. It just doesn't really, sometimes it works, but often it's more frustrating than fulfilling. So I'll do my little thing here, and then you're all welcome to ask me any questions, and we'll see how it goes. But so we had the Democratic sit-in last night. We had Diablo Canyon, the last nuclear plant in California, being chosen to get closed. And then the third thing was the Aboriginal people of Australia. One particular group of them were given 50,000 acres, hectares, however they say it, back from the government. Diablo Canyon, this was about 50 years in the making. This land deal for the Aboriginals, about 40 years in the making. Gun control in the U.S. and a sit-in in Congress, a long time. But things are happening now that, hey Finola, things are happening now that haven't happened before. And I promise you all, I'm sure you can feel it. It's a sign of the times. So let me just talk more about dealing with the energies. I look at Kaipacha, and I look at other astrologers there. The information that I got about Sirius was from a gentleman named Carl Boudreau, and I'll try to put these links actually on the beneath the video when it's done. But what I wanted to talk about actually last night, let me get to that, is I happened to see an interview, a speech from Stephen Greer. And I'm sure a lot of you know Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer is American, and he used to be an emergency room medical doctor, and he's a very bright, healthy, quite enlightened guy. He actually meditated as a teenager about 8 hours a day for quite a while there, and he had his own enlightenment experience as a teenager, and that completely changed his life. So what Greer's been doing is working on connecting with ETs, and he does this. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. He takes groups who practice meditation and work with their higher consciousness and work with opening themselves up. And ships come down, and they have sometimes beings of light, and these kinds of experiences physically happen. Okay, so he's been doing all that for decades, and then he's created several different huge projects to try to get disclosure about all of this in the general media, including one called the Disclosure Project. That's where I met him, and this was back in the 80s, I'd say, maybe the 90s. And then he did a film called Sirius, which was also a disclosure project, showing all the evidence of ETs and UFOs and all of this from astronauts and airplane pilots and Indian chiefs and generals and all these very reputable people giving their personal experiences of that. So what I want to say here is that a lot of our friends there in the there's like several different sub communities that are out, in the world about the awakening that's happening. There are, let's say, the conspiracy people who follow David Icke, and I was one of those people, and I've read and seen and met and studied David Icke for about a decade, and he is brilliant. And then there are the UFO people. I was just getting into that. I've met Stephen Greer. I've met Bob Dean. I've met Al Bielek. I've met a lot of the people who have been involved in that work for a while, and they're very reputable and very sincere. So they have that piece of the pie. Danny Sheehan is another name to know about. What's the gentleman from Harvard? His name's slipping my mind. Anyway, he passed away. Brian O'Leary is another one. He was an astronaut. I met Brian. So I want to talk about free energy. And so, what I've been offering for the month of June, or suggesting is a better word, is that at 9 a.m. in the morning and at 9 a.m. at night, for 10 minutes, we take time to work together as a group and send love and light to whatever projects or whatever dreams or desires we have for ourselves and the planet. So free energy has been, available since Tesla's time, which is about a century ago. And of course, it's been covered up, and you all know all the stories about that. But all of these little subgroups, are starting to realize, we're all starting to realize, I'd say, that we're all in the same boat, and that we have common interests. And just like, again, with what's happening politically in the U.S., with the Bernie Sanders presidential race and all of that, he's going to give a talk tonight in a few hours, a town hall meeting in New York about midnight Ireland time. It's like 5:30 on the East Coast there. But all of it is, stirring up the pot, and it's asking us all, what kind of world do we want to live in? That's really what I want to talk about here tonight. So, positive contact with spirit and spirit guides and beings of light and ETs, if you like, angels. There's, as Abraham says, I'm a big fan of Abraham's work. Everyone who's ever walked the earth exists in spirit, and there's more in heaven and earth than is dreamt of in our philosophy, Horatio, as Hamlet says. There's so much to life, and we're just beginning to, in this lifetime, discover whole new levels of consciousness, whole new levels of possibilities. So my suggestion is, if we want to continue to build this energy together, and that would be my hope and my prayer, is at 9 a.m. in the morning and 9 a.m. and at 9 p.m. in the evening, you take time and make space for peace, for love, for gratitude, etc., and begin to, really open up to spirit as much as you possibly can, and to create those dreams and those desires. I've just mentioned a few. There's many, many others, that you have personally as well. But, the power of our consciousness is truly unlimited, except when we don't believe that it is. And it's been shown scientifically, quantum physics, and every other way, that when, two or more gather together working with a similar intent, praying together, focusing on the same idea, etc., that we really can create amazing changes. June continues to be, July will be, August will be, the months of this summer are profoundly challenging. So today, for myself, just work, the desire to reach out to more people and to share what I've been studying and experiencing with Spirit for the last 30 years. That's been my challenge. So I was actually emailing people who I've worked with before, and inviting them to think about working with me, and asking for donations and sessions and all that. It comes to that sometimes, and so I'm putting that out to people that are listening here tonight. Thank you for considering working with me and what I get to share with you. But even more than that, I put a couple days ago, I put out an image of the sword and the stone from King Arthur and the Once and Future King. T.H. White, there's Jerry, you made it, okay. T.H. White wrote this brilliant novel called The Once and Future King about King Arthur, and then many of you probably have read The Mists of Avalon, which is a feminist and a very brilliant retelling of King Arthur and his story. Lazarus, the teacher that I've studied with for all this time, was reintroducing this story the last month or so here. We think it's a myth, some of us, and we think that, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Here's what I want to try to weave together, and then I'll channel here in a minute or two. My guides say, that what you that whatever we can imagine is real somewhere. And I actually heard Pablo Picasso say the same thing, that nothing is unreal. That if you imagine it, there's one mind, there's one consciousness. Reality is a closed set, even though it seems infinite. And whatever we focus on with our imagination, emotion, expectation, that's what we draw into our experiences here. So I'm just, trying to say as clearly as I can what my guides say here. We quiet the mind. This is the journey. We open the heart, come back to peace, and as we sustain that peace, we reconnect with our spirit. So I just want to say this again, that my ebook from my guides is entitled The Invitation, because spirit never asserts its will upon us. It must wait for, as the law of attraction says, for like attract like, for there to be a harmonious, balanced, equal vibration between what we're wanting and what we're asking for and what we draw into our experience. Okay, so thanks, Mandy. So this is the whole point of, for me, my journey, studying these teachings. And I just want to say that, we are always supported, we're always protected, and we're always guided. And if we allow inspiration to be a part of our lives every day, then, things will fit together in a beautiful and harmonious way. So I guess one more time, I just want to say there is a lot of chaos in the world. And there is a lot of, my guides have said there's a clash of paradigms that we're all kind of, heading into. And, I say again, over the next few months, it's going to get very powerful, because there's a balance between, those of us that are awakening, who have a loving higher power, who have a spiritual dimension to our lives, who have a sense of collective responsibility about humanity and taking care of the earth and loving each other and, acting with honesty and integrity. And then there are those people, that don't have those values and don't see those values as being either helpful or important. And so there's kind of this furious coming together here between the immovable object and the unstoppable force, between the rock and the hard place, of what's right and what's wrong, and how are we to live in this world. And what I was thinking last night, so I'll just say it here tonight, is, there's the recovering self in all of us that has, confronted our character defects and our shortcomings and our fears and our judgments and our addictions, etc. Addiction, obsession, compulsion, as my guides say. And then there is the unrecovered part of us that doesn't want to heal and doesn't want to change and doesn't want to forgive and doesn't want to grow, basically. The negative ego, the Tsarist calls it. So, we all have these different parts. And as Shakespeare says again, everyone plays their part in every life. We play all these different roles. So I just want to say that compassion for ourselves and each other. I heard the Dalai Lama, saw a film with him a few nights ago, The Road to Peace. Compassion for ourselves and each other is so important, because I actually just read Abraham today saying the key to alignment is non-reaction. I thought that was very good. So I hope you're getting the picture here, that in all these energies, all these belief systems, all these examinations of who we think we are and what we believe and what we value and all of that, at the center of that is our own spiritual nature. And again, it is eternal, it is unconditional, it is absolute. It's unconditional love and perfect peace, as my guides say. So how do we as human beings begin to learn to work with that? Patience, practice, and persistence, and a healthy sense of humor is also very recommended. I just want to say something about that. That in 30 years of studying with spirit guides and channeling and channel material, every single spirit guide that I've ever worked with has a brilliant sense of humor. And if you have one, cherish it and use it wisely and well. Without a sense of humor, it's just not funny. That's my quote. And so anyway, it's all about perspective. It's all about feeling safe to open our hearts to ourselves and to each other. We will all make mistakes. We will all be unprepared at times. We will all get confused and frightened. It's not that you make mistakes, it's what you do with them, is what Lazarus says. So it is a good line. It is a good time. Sorry, bad line. It is a good time to be alive, but it does take a lot of letting go to really listen to, trust, and follow our inner guidance. So just want to say one more time, check out Steve Greer and his work with consciousness and free energy. Practice meditation, prayer, and journaling every day. Find some way that you can be of loving service, of course, to the people in your life and to the wider world, even if it's just praying for everyone, even if it's just sending light for everyone, even if it's just offering compassion and forgiveness. Those things are so powerful. And I think the promise here from Spirit is that as we continue to put the needle on the song that we want to listen to, then we're going to let go of the old ideas, the old struggles, the old fears, etc., etc. Yeah. So you all know this stuff. I'm not telling you probably anything you haven't already studied or heard. So it's just it's a great privilege to get to share some of this with you. And I know that I'm going to keep doing these videos because this is a lovely way to connect with people. And as I say, much easier for me than Skype. I may just give that up entirely. So I'm going to do a little channeling here for you. And 9 a.m. in the morning, 10 minutes, 9 a.m. at night. For the month of June, we're nearly through it. About another week to go. And here's to the Democrats in Congress finding their voice. I was really happy about that. Here's to Diablo Canyon being the last nuclear power plant in the U.S. In California, built on an earthquake fault, built upside down and backwards. It couldn't hardly be any worse. And here's to the Aboriginal people being given their land back by the government. It's exciting. It's anything can happen. And here's to the political revolution and the spiritual revolution right behind it. So I'm going to just try and manage this here. Go ahead and close your eyes. Thanks for listening. Yeah, okay, very good. Right, absolutely. Right. To respond rather than react. I'm reading Jeannie Baylor here. You have to be assertive. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a balance, but it's about not making others wrong, which is a tricky dance. Yeah, and speaking our truth, but also having wanting people to be open to finding and honoring their truth as well. It's real easy to get polarized. I'm all for everyone, especially women, being assertive. Yeah, very important that we find our voices at this time. Absolutely. But without alienating people if it's possible. My favorite, one of my favorite quotes is from the film Gandhi, where he says, "We want the British to leave, but we want them to leave as our friends." That's the spirit of the Christ consciousness, to my mind. Yeah. So a pleasure. So let's do a little channeling here, my friends. It's great. I never know if when these things are going to shut off. Like if it was, someone said it was 10 minutes and the last one I did was 12 minutes. So I'll just keep chatting on here. This is good. This is nice. 14 people. I'm very honored. So I'm going to bring my my friends in here. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. We'll do a little work here. Dear friends, here we go. Imagine 7 stars spiral down through time and space. Touch the crown of your head. Take a lovely deep breath. Relax and release. Let the energy spiral down the 7 centers. Relax and release. All the way down into Mother Earth. Relax and release. Dear friends, yeah? A pillar of light, yeah? Dear friends, we create a little grid of light here, yeah? Above and below, left and right. Before, behind, within, and all around. Yeah, take a deep breath. Dear friends, you're powerful spiritual beings. Yeah, this is your time of truly coming into alignment with, yeah, what is possible for you. Yeah, what has seemed too good to be true. Yeah, dear friends, for many in your world. Yeah, that you allow yourself permission to want what you want. And dear friends, to give to yourself what you're asking life to give to you. So, dear ones, here's the paradox. Yeah, you'll hear paradox over and over again on the spiritual journey to transcend the duality, the appearance of opposites. Yeah, dear friends, your heart is, of course, the center of the universe, of your universe. Your heart is, yeah, the master of your reality creation in this world. And so, dear friends, just to focus on your heart and to imagine a beautiful ball of light there, like a star, yeah, and take a deep breath into that. And just come into harmony and balance with the love and light of all that is as you. Dear friends, yeah, we're the channel's guides here. It's a pleasure. It's an honor here, yeah, to have a few moments to step out of time and space, yeah, and to work some magic here, yeah, to invite more miracles into your life and into your world. Take another deep breath. Dear friends, you are sovereign beings. And as was said here, Spirit does not assert itself upon you, except that you open your heart and feel safe, loved, and supported. And as you do and when you do, we are there in your midst, as the saying goes, dear friends, absolutely. So as you can feel us here and now with you just where you're at, yeah, allow yourself to enjoy, yeah, a bit of your vibration, yeah, raising up to perhaps the next level, dear friends, yeah, a step above where you're at. And just take a breath into that. Willing to come into the higher vibration of my higher self. I'm willing to come into the higher vibration of spirit and of my guides. I'm willing to take time and make space for peace as often and as deeply as possible. I'm willing to be the inspiration and the example of my own life. Take a breath into that. Dear friends, let's imagine a beautiful angel standing before you, a beautiful being of light. And she, yeah, dear friends, puts a hand to that beautiful heart. And she sends you a blessing of healing, a blessing of knowing, a blessing of remembering who you truly are. That in your heart of hearts, dear friends, you know that you are the soul and spirit, yeah, the higher self of this wonderful lifetime. And that you're willing, ready, and available to be more of that, to understand more of that, and to express more of that spiritual energy, of your true spiritual nature, of love and joy, dear friends, in this lifetime of lifetimes. Take a breath into that, dear friends. And we just pour forth the light and love of all that is into that beautiful heart of yours, dear friends. There are no accidents, there are no coincidences. You've heard the call, dear friends, and you've responded. You've asked for greater clarity, greater wisdom, greater understanding, greater courage, dear friends. And so we remind you that all of that is already within you. Willing and available, yeah, through your own free will, yeah, dear friends. And as you drink in the light and love of all that is through this beam of light here from our hand to your heart, dear friends, yeah, let yourself give thanks for all that you already have, dear friends, overcome and accomplished in this lifetime of lifetimes. All the challenges, all the struggles, dear friends, and all the conflicts that you've made peace with, that you've taken the meaning from, that you've understood to the best of your ability, that you've learned to forgive and to release, and that you continue to move forward upon your path of peace and joy. Take a deep breath. Dear friends, so often life is just a long to-do list. And so rarely do you give yourself permission to really accept yourself, to really honor yourself, to really appreciate yourself. Dear friends, you've achieved so much more already than, you would have previously imagined possible. And yet we promise you, it's barely begun, dear friends. That you're stepping into a whole new vibration. You feel it, you sense it, you understand it. And yet there's still so much to integrate and so much to release and so much to remember and so much to create, dear friends, Your heart knows what your mind struggles to believe. And when you take time and make space to let Spirit bless you, to honor you, to respect you, and to celebrate you, you're giving the world a great gift, dear friends. You're giving the world you as you're meant to be. You're giving the world you as you're coming into being. You're giving the world you, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, dear friends. The human being becoming the spiritual being. You're giving the world a new idea of what's possible in this magnificent and beautiful time. Take another deep breath. And now just see that you are also with the angel, dear friends, that it's your hand upon your heart, that you're being the being of light right here and now, that you're being the blessing to yourself and thus to your world, that you are the future self, dear friends, of this being that you a moment ago thought was you, that you're already, stepping outside of time and space and using your consciousness, your dreams and desires, and, dear friends, the love and light of all that is in your heart, soul, and spirit to inspire you and to uplift you, to be more and to remember more of who you are here to be and to become. Dear friends, we love you so. Take a deep breath. So finally, let the two come together as one in a beautiful embrace. You as the angel of light, the being of light, dear friends, and you as the human self. And just feel that peace, dear friends. Feel our love and our light surround and support you. Once again, dear friends, your heart of hearts, free, joyous, open, and alive. One more deep breath. And the two merge and melt completely into the one. And you come back into this time and space, dear friends. A little bit more aware of who you are and a little bit more connected to what is possible for you, for humanity, and for your world. Dear friends, you are beautiful, you are powerful, and you are a magical being of love and light. Want what you want for yourself and for your world, and let life show you, in truth, it is yours already. Give thanks. We give thanks with you. Peace and blessings. All is truly well for you and your world. All is truly well. Peace and blessings. Namaste. Okay, my friends, thank you once again from my heart to yours. This is me. This is my life. This is what I love and what I get to do. My website is loumartin.eu, and I've got a 40-page ebook called The Invitation there with prayers and meditations and poems, and I do sessions via Skype for donation, 30, 60, or 90 minutes. So, peace and blessings. Thanks very much. Love you all. Namaste.